boy, I found more. My gosh, I found more. Like, I found this interview on The Guardian. Okay, this is like from 2020. This was written by Simon Hattenstone, and it's like Wesley Snipes on art, excellence, and life after prison. I hope I came out a better person. So the interviewer is asking Wesley, hey, this is how was your experience on the set of Blade? Because of what Patton Oswalt said, right? And he goes like, oh yeah, it's from the actor and comedian Patton Oswalt, like the quote I say. A reliable authority on me, he replies sarcastically. I read the quote. Wesley was just freaking crazy in a hilarious way. He tried to strangle director David Goyer. And Wesley goes on the record and says, let me tell you one thing. If I had tried to strangle David Goyer, you probably wouldn't be talking to me now. A black guy with muscles strangling the director of a movie is going to jail, I guarantee you. So is that a no then? And he goes like, did I go to jail for strangling him? Never happened. And then he goes, I continue with the quote. For the rest of the production, he would only communicate through Post-it notes. And he would sign each Post-it note from Blade, true or not. And then he's like, he starts giggling, but he's not amused. Once again, Mr. Oswald is the authority. Ho, ho, ho. Why do people believe this guy's version of his story? Answer me that. And then the interviewer goes like, I'm not saying I believe it. I say, I'm simply asking if you think it's fair. And then, so now his voice is calm and professorial. And Wesley says, this is part of the challenges that we as African Americans face here in America. These microaggressions. The presumption that one white guy can make a statement and the statement stands as true. Why would people believe his version is true? Because they are predisposed to believing the black guy is always the problem. And all it takes is one person, Mr. Oswald, who I really don't know. I can barely remember him on the set, but it's fascinating that his statement alone was enough to make people go like, yeah, Snipes has got a problem. And then he goes on to remind people, he was like, he's still not done. And I remind you that I was one of the executive producers of the project, he says. I had contractual directorial approval, meaning that in his contract, he negotiated that he was supposed to be approving who was going to direct. I was not just the actor for hire. I had authority to say, to dictate, to decide. This was a hard concept for a lot of people to wrap their heads around. And then I found an article in Variety from 2005, April 20th, 2005, that says Snipes throwing legal blade at Trinity team, accusing New Line others of contract violation and racism. This is what I remember back in the day. See, I told you I was like feeling like gaslit here because I thought it was all about like, them being racist on set, like towards, African American people. And then all of a sudden it's like all twisted in articles and media. And I had no idea. Oh my gosh. So it says actor Wesley Snipes had sued New Line Cinema, writer-director David Goyer, and Toby Emmerich, executive producer of Blade Trinity, in a wide-ranging federal lawsuit seeking more than $5 million in damage. In a lawsuit filed Monday in U.S. District Court in Los Angeles, Snipes alleges that in violation of his contract, the director, screenplay, and supporting cast of Blade Trinity were forced on him. He also claims he still owed a portion of his fee and that he was harassed and defamed because of his race. New Line declined to comment. I'm like, yes, he was harassed. Like, there's like an allegation. As a matter of fact, Patton Oswalt said that he witnessed while he was like out of the strip club with David Goyer, the director, that he paid the bill, the tab, for a bunch of bikers that were right there. And he said to show up at the set next day, next day, and all the beers would be on him, or like the drinks would be on him, and he paid everybody's tab, and sure enough, the next day, a bunch of bikers showed up to intimidate Wesley Snipes. Yo, what the freak? So Goyer penned all 3 Blade scripts, according to the complaint. However, Snipes had concerns about him directed the third film in the trilogy, and he wasn't informed about this until 6 weeks before filming began that Goyer would direct. According to the complaint, however, Snipes had concerns about him directing the third film. Similar, he was not given an opportunity to object to the juvenile level of humor in the screenplay and the change in focus from the Blade character to 2 sidekicks. Snipes claims the real purpose of Blade 3 was to set the stage for spin-offs featuring other cast members. I agree. As a matter of fact, this juvenile level of humor and banter, like, that was Ryan Reynolds wanting. He said it. He said that he would provoke Wesley Snipes because he was being method acted, and he was method acting, and he wasn't like talking to Reynolds between takes or anything. He would stay in character. So because he wouldn't interact or he wouldn't respond, then he would just egg him on, and like he got like a bunch of one-liners or little puns or whatever added to the script because of this. He was ad-libbing, and this is exactly corroborating what it's saying here. So Snipes blames Goyer for the critical response to the film. Yeah, it was very different than other movies, honestly, citing reviews describing Goyer as a disastrous choice and calling the film a bloody mess. Film released last December has grossed 52 million at the domestic box office. I mean, still good. Snipes also claims that in contrast to the first 2 Blade films, in which efforts were made to select a multiracial cast and crew, defendants intentionally hired only white people, leading to feelings of isolation and exclusion by Snipes. He also claims that Goyer made racially motivated statements about Snipes being unprofessional and difficult to work with, and that Goyer refused to discipline a crew member who wore a racially discriminatory t-shirt on the set. Was that because like they dressed a black actor, like the other black actor, in like a t-shirt that said garbage? Because that seems pretty discriminatory to me. And this is exactly what I thought back in the day. This is what I heard. That the whole ordeal was because something racist happened on the set, and Wesley Snipes was pissed off about it. And he was not getting along with the director. This is exactly. And you know what? If you watch my other video, my 10-minute video from, part 1 of this, my gosh, they totally darvoted. Uno reversed it on him. Accused him of calling what's his name? Ryan Reynolds a cracker. Like some anonymous executive. What? An anonymous executive. And Oswald Patton, like, look, Blade can't, like, Wesley Snipes can't even remember him. And all of a sudden, he's, like, the authority of everything. It sounds very much like Isabella Ferrer and freaking Jenny Slate. Allegedly, in my opinion. Freak, how long have they been doing this? In my opinion, allegedly. And when will it end? It better end with Baldoni. It better freaking end with Baldoni. How many productions are we talking about? In my opinion, allegedly.